Hey, what's up, guys? See, there are a lot of people in the chat already there. Normally, when I do this kind of stuff, I do it on Twitch, so a little bit surprising to see everybody just pop in there at once. But that's YouTube for you, I guess. So, what I figured we would do, figured showcase some Firestorm footage here. So I'm going to get that pulled up. So we can check out some of this stuff, talk about it a little bit. I'll be watching the chat the whole time, so ask me some stuff regarding Firestorm. A lot of questions about the roadmap, it being disappointing. I feel like it's one of those things where, how do we say this? I think Battlefield 5 was rushed at launch, and this is still the after effects of it being rushed. If they had more time to work on the actual game and kind of prep some of this stuff, then I don't think that we'd be in the position that we're in right now, where it's like, okay, we are going to get maps, but they're going to be coming out, much more metered and slowly there. So let me see here what happened. Where did my camera go? My camera disappeared. How did I get to play Firestorm? Dice invited me out to Stockholm in Sweden to play for the event. So that's what was happening there. It's interesting. That's not showing up on that. Give me 1 minute here to try and figure out why this isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's very weird, because now it just looks like my camera has froze for whatever reason. So I'm going to try and get it working, but we'll talk about a couple things regarding Firestorm and all that fun stuff here. So maybe my camera will kick in at some point. I don't know. What game this? What's up, Smoke? How's it going, dude? Yeah, so we're doing a Firestorm here, looking at the various elements. Fort de Vaux reused assets? Yes. It took me a couple of games to figure out where that was on this, but it seems like they did put a little chunk of it in there, which I'm really hopeful. Maybe that means we'll see Fort de Vaux remaster, something like that at some point. Is this COD? What's up, Bo? A main question, am I hyped for the Pacific Theater? Yes, absolutely. That is something that I think is long overdue. What didn't I like about Firestorm? That's a good question. I think the mid-game is a little bit slow, right? Like, you look at the size of the map here, and I mean, it is huge. It is like bonkers huge. So I feel like I really would have liked to have seen 100 players instead of just 64. And that's something that we had talked to the devs about, and it's just something I feel like that would make the mid game a little bit more interesting. Does it feel a bit more boring? I wouldn't say boring. I would say slower, right? So it's not like Apex Legends, where Apex is a it's a big map, but it's much smaller in my opinion, or at least it feels much smaller. And Apex only has 64 players at a time too, so this map is just huge. It's just a really big map for 64 players, even with the circle. So there's a couple of things they might consider doing. You know, they might consider making the circle smaller. I don't know what they're going to do here. But what we're watching here for this first part is the first game that I played. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I'll just throw that out there. That we're learning a lot of these things as we go along. So at this point, I didn't know that, oh, okay, I can have 2 primary weapons and a pistol. So like I walk by a pistol and don't pick it up because I'm like, well, I don't want to give up a rifle for it. And I learned later, oh, I don't have to. I get the 2 primary weapons and then a pistol. Ghost HD talking about, can you customize your soldier in Firestorm? You can. You can select either the British or the Germans, and you can select whatever class. It's just the class doesn't impact anything except for what you look like visually, right? So the way you kit out your player for multiplayer in terms of visual customization is what you'll look like in the game, right? If you select it that way. So there is some changeover kind of between everything, some bleed over there with that, but you know, we weren't really able to customize our characters in the build that we had. We had some dice players here, so you can see those like Snock, like his stuff looked pretty cool. But you know, he had all his stuff linked up and ready to go. Gandalf, yeah. My voice sounds different because I'm not reading off of a script. So I sound a little bit different when I'm reading off of a script. I'm also using a different microphone than I typically use, but I'm actually really quite happy with this new microphone. This is the Blue Ember, which is an XLR microphone. It's not a USB, and I think it sounds fantastic for what it is. But in terms of why I sound different, it's because I'm not reading words. And yes, I'm also tired. That does play a role in it. Sir Xantus, I don't know if you know, there's some kind of technical limitation on why they can't go to 100 players. It may have something to do with the net code. I don't know. I would really like to see it get up to 100 players. So. And again, this is our first match here, so I had not played Firestorm up to this point. I didn't do any early access or anything for Firestorm during development, so I don't really know the map. I don't really know where I'm going, so I'm trusting on my my buddies to lead me around here. Elite Scout, thanks for the super chat, dude. I'm glad the notifications work for that. I didn't know if they were going to work or not. All right, so at this point, we found one of the vehicle lockups, and I think all of us are kind of deciding, are we going to try and open this, or are we not going to, given the tremendous noise that it makes when you start to try and open it. And apparently, this guy decided, yeah, let's do it, and I'm like, okay. So it takes about 30 seconds to open one of the vehicle lockups, and you can see here you're really tied in. I can't look beyond this range. I'm not able to turn and look beyond this, so it's like I'm really exposed right now. And you can see if you look at the mini-map, a player is down there kind of watching our backs, and another one went into the bunker already. And at this point, we got the doors open, so we're all going to pile down in there and find this nice Storm Tiger, which, seeing it down there, like, I was really of the opinion, like, oh yeah, we are gonna win this game. Like, we got the Storm Tiger. Like, nothing's gonna nothing's gonna be able to take us down, you know. But as you'll see as this unfolds, that's not the case. So. Doesn't sound like the videos. Please do. It's Flakfire intro. Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. Thanks for joining me for this live broadcast here today. I can put the announcer voice on a little bit more, you know. Ruid, yes, there was some new customization stuff for visuals, and I'll actually point that out here in the next one, the next game that we look at, because in the starting round, like, people have different poses, and I'm sure that's part of the visual customization. So, like, when you look at your squad screen and you see your other squad members, you're actually able to, I assume, change the way that they look. So I'll bring that back at the end of this match here and point that out to you. You didn't think this was live? You thought it was a normal video? Well, that's good. That makes me feel a little bit better. You can see that they've already burned through about half their fuel right now. I think it started at about 50 and we're down to 31. So moving not all that far, ran out of a lot of fuel there. So that guy found the tractor. I'm pointing out that I saw some people over there, and then I realized, wait, I'm the only one in the tank. Well, I'm going to swing this beast around and go after the people at the edge of the map. Dylan, I heard about it. I did not see it. You know, I really kind of fought with myself on, oh, do I want to upload that particular video, just because, you know, the combat is a little bit slower. And I was like, well, you know, it is kind of representative of what I played, so I'm going to go ahead and put it out there, and we'll see. Greg Black, have you ever thought about working in television or radio? I worked in radio for about 8 years as a news reporter and on, you know, DJ type of on-air personality. So been there, done that, much happier doing doing what I'm doing right now. So. Did they show or talk about other stuff that you can't talk about it? There is some stuff that they talked about that I cannot talk about. But it is some exciting stuff, and that's, you know, all I can really say about that. Matthew talking about Criterion and DICE, the feedback we gave. Criterion, I think, was pretty happy with the feedback we gave. You know, when we look at it from the point of view of, right, things that I like, things that I don't like, you know, I did have a couple things that I disliked, or certain things that I felt were a little bit awkward, or that I knew people in the community wouldn't like. So in Firestorm, you can't equip your own attachments and things. And, you know, that's something that I was like, people aren't going to like this. You know, they want to play the game their way. But actually playing Firestorm and using the method that they had, I liked it because I thought it was a little bit more, you know, raw and like you have to survive given the tools that you find kind of thing. And I also feel that Battle Royales get a little bit too much, you know, inventory management simulator type games at times. So, you know, but it's still something that I relayed. I was like, people are going to expect this, you know, and they're like, well, we will definitely look at that in the future. Here, I whiff on that Storm Tiger right there. But we did, Matthew, we did give DICE a lot of feedback on roadmap stuff and how they felt the state of the game was and all this and that. And we kind of ripped into them a little bit. So looking at the roadmap that came out today, there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, it's a little bit underwhelming. It's okay to feel that way. But it is something to mention that, you know, DICE said that they were going to under-promise and over-deliver with the roadmap. So I think there's a lot of things in the roadmap, smaller things that they haven't talked about yet that are kind of going to bring up the value of stuff a little bit. I feel so bad for this guy. I pinched him. He had to go through either me or the fire right here, and it was worth it to go into the edge of the fire. That was a lot of fun. Chapter 5 looks like it's going to be the Pacific Shaggy. And here I died. See, so the tank didn't make me invincible. I'm going to bring this back, though, and go to this particular screen, right? I'm going to pause this to talk about it for a minute. So talking about cosmetics, right? Looking at how these people are standing, like this is all new. So this guy's doing this little salute here. This guy has his hands together. This guy has her hands behind her back here. And this guy's just like nonchalantly chilling with his arms off to the side. So like all of these poses are different. So I assume that that's some kind of visual customization that I'm just not super familiar with. So that's what I assume is some new customization options right there. We'll start the next round. I forgot to set the record feature until after I landed, so you don't get to see me land here. But we find some interesting stuff still and work together decently well, in my opinion. Apocalypse YT Sullus, I know nothing about. I know literally nothing. I just know that it shows up on a lot of the crates, the little Sullus logo, and it's in the hangar. But devs did not tell us anything about what Sullus means. So it totally could be some, little subtext, Easter egg kind of material where there's like a little narrative going on here underneath all of the Battlefield meta and stuff, and we just don't know. But they did not specifically talk about it. Can I tell DICE next time we meet one of them that we want D-Day? Yes, I can. And actually, in previous feedback sessions, we have talked about that because we've talked about, expectations. And it's like, okay, we want this. Okay, we want that. Like, you've shown us, a lot of conflicts within World War II that are a bit more obscure, bring us the stuff that people really, really expect now. And D-Day, Omaha Beach, that kind of stuff is something that we talked about a lot. Jessica, to answer your question, this is a recording of me playing last week in Stockholm. So Firestorm does not come out till the 25th. So this is all recorded gameplay here. Marco Polo, what do I think about Operation Mercury? I hope that it's pretty big. They're making it sound like it's an operation, right? So maybe they'll kind of break up Crete into 2 different maps. Like, that would be pretty cool. Oh, Apocalypse, don't worry. Eastern Front is definitely on the list there. Vasilios, I would agree with that. I think there's a lot of people who, still have the expectations of several different maps and, used to these map packs. And unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit slower than that, I think. And I feel like it's a reasonable expectation, but I do feel like the content should have started rolling out a bit sooner than it did. And I think if people are annoyed about that, then it's totally justified. And Arthur, yes, it is me talking. Do I think that EA will extend the life cycle to 3 years so DICE has more time to develop the game to its fullest? I know it's going to be at least 2 years, so they have promised that much. I think at that point there'll be there'll be another Battlefield game to come out, right? But DICE are set on supporting this for 2 years. That's stuff that they've said. So I sound different from my normal videos. Yeah, I'm not reading off of a script, so when I present things on paper, I sound a little bit different. And it's a different microphone. Although the last video that I did, I recorded with this microphone. the blue ember. So a lot of it is just how I present when I read things. Any word on why Greece got delayed till May? I have no idea. You know, DICE have been very much from the point of view of like, we'll release it when it's ready, at least after launch, right? You know, they've tried to really tiptoe around some of that stuff. So, Manhunt, I don't know. I really expect the microtransaction stuff for the cosmetics to come here soon. I would expect to see that happen soon. And T. Hanks, I think that you're not the only one thinking that. You know, there are a lot of people who, you know, how DICE and how EA handles this game is going to determine how they spend their money in the future, you know, and I've told them that. So hopefully they really beef up this game here, and I think the roadmap looks like a good start to it. I think you like the new voice better. Oh, thank you. Alex, to answer the question, right now, this is just kind of a one-off. With my regular job, I work on a 9-month contract. So during the summer, I will be off. And during the summer, I will probably have more regular streams at particular times. But right now, I can't say that it'll be anything regular. And most of the time when I do stream, I do it on Twitch, just because the moderation tools are a bit easier for me. Anything about a cosmetic drop apart from Boynes? No, not that I've heard yet. I think we're all just waiting on Boynes for that. And as you guys watch the footage here, this is game number 2. So I'm starting to figure things out a little bit more. You can see I got a backpack, and I got one of the flare pistols. So this is I think this is just a regular spotting flare pistol, I'm reasonably sure. PC with Xbox controller, yes. And I think I was the only one playing at that capture event with a controller. Broken Machine might have had one. I know they brought him one, but I'm not sure if he played with it or not. So, hey, Nicka Man, how's it going, dude? Mic sounding crisp? Thank you. If you guys don't subscribe to Nicka Man, he is the master of vehicular warfare in Battlefield 5, and you should definitely check out his stuff. Are there any weapons and vehicles you are looking forward to? I'm really looking forward to that weird medic weapon that they're going to be rolling out. The Tromboccino, if I'm saying that correctly, which I'm probably not. But that one is the one that is the combination Carcano bolt-action rifle and grenade launcher on the side. And that's supposed to be coming out for the medic class. So the medic class is going to get a bolt-action rifle that can also be switched to a grenade launcher. But it's going to be crazy because it's like both of those things required a bolt, and you only had one bolt. So like the animation for this, I'm sure whoever animated it is going to have fun, but it's like in order to use the bolt action rifle, you know, you have to have the bolt in there. If you want to use the grenade launcher, you have to pull the bolt out of the rifle and put it in the grenade launcher attached to the rifle. So you have to like hot swap the bolt for the for the weapon. So it sounds pretty crazy. I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like, but it'll be interesting. Mr. Laban, is this recorded? No, this is live. Thank you, Andreas. When was this rifle mentioned? This rifle is listed on the EA Games website for the Tides of War Chapter 3. I'll post it here in the chat, so you can click on it and kind of see it there. There's 2 other weapons that are in there. You got the Lachti Soloranta and the Delisle Carbine. Delisle also going to medic, Lachti Soloranta going to support. Are the tanks balanced? I feel like the tanks actually are hazardous to your health from the point of view of you get in one and you become a magnet for nasty things. Yeah, I guess I should clarify. Gameplay is recorded. I'm talking live over this. And in this one here, we're just kind of hanging out. Like, we know we're in the circle, so hanging out in the houses, kind of waiting for everybody to filter in towards us, because I think that's the best way to play Battle Royales. Some of my other teammates in other games did not think that, and they were like, we're going to go after these people. I'm like, no. So they all die, and I'm the only one left. In this match, though, this is one that we win. But this is one, talking about vehicles and balance, this is one that an enemy team brings a tank in. Enemy squad brings in a tank, and it runs out of fuel and ammunition, and they have to bail out. And they die because of it, and we win. So there's a lot of interesting stuff with the meta here on that, about how well this stuff is going to work. Jackson, it does not come out until the 25th, dude. So Firestorm not active yet. This is recorded from a capture event in Stockholm last week. Alistair, I don't know. That might be something that they'll do there in the future. Let me try and get caught up on the chat here. I'm reading too slow. I talk too much. I did not ask about the dragging system. Marco Polo, I know they said that it works, but it doesn't look good. And so they wanna fix it so that it actually works properly. And they said once they get it working right, they will put it in the game. Manhunt, I might tend to agree with you. If I mean, there's been talk that Dice LA was working on a Battlefield game, and these are unsubstantiated. I haven't talked to any devs about this or know anything about it, but supposedly Dice LA was working on a game, and it got canceled, and they had to roll out Battlefield 5 like a couple years ahead of when it was supposed to be finished. So I'm hoping that maybe it's just a one-off thing in that regard. So we'll see. Jiven, regarding separating the factions, I have not heard anything about that yet. We did have a little bit of feedback on it, and I said, it'd be real nice, at least from, and I pointed this out. I was like, from a marketing standpoint, like, factions sell stuff, like cosmetics really don't. So, if you're going to bring stuff in, bring in, the American faction, bring in the Russian faction, that way it seems, a bit beefier, even if it just is cosmetics, right? Like, you want to construct it in a way that, people feel some ownership of something. You know what I mean? Because you've got people who it's like, I want to play as my nation, not as allied dressed as my nation, and that's an important distinction for some people. I look at that tank over there and I'm like, I don't want to go that way. And now I have a little panic because I'm like, I have no AT weapons, and I spend like the next couple minutes looking around for AT weapons to try and go after this guy. But like I said, they run out of ammunition and have to bail out. Matthew Fish, I don't know any kind of future stuff regarding the future of Firestorm. I know that it's shifting from Criterion to DICE, so DICE are going to be adding more stuff to Firestorm as it moves forward. Firestorm launches with solos and squads, and then duos come in April. So that's the next thing that's coming up there for that. Did talk to some people, and I know that they're trying to make the ping system a little bit more like Apex Legends, so we'll see where they get with that. And I think that's a really smart move, because the ping system in Apex is like light years superior to everything else. At least in here, we've still got the ping system from the multiplayer, which I use all the time. Like, I am always pointing out where people are and that kind of stuff. So you can see they had to bail out of the tank. And I had somebody the other day on the Twitch stream who said, hey, should I start practicing with iron sights? And 100% you should start practicing with iron sights. Ote Broncos, what country are you from? USA. A sniper, I think that's good. I think that the medic class could use a bit more reach, right? I want to go back to this. This is another thing that we told them that we know is going to get worked on, is this victory screen. Because it came up and I was like, it needs to be in my face. It needs to be like, you won, because the other time I won, I didn't even notice. I was like, we're going to the end of round screen, and I won. Like, I want to feel really, really good about winning, and it didn't happen. From the little flash on the screen. I'm like, I need this in my face. Like, show me that I won, and have that reward be like immediate, right? You do get the little end around screen. Where it's like, you came first. Oh my. But, it's still like, I want to feel like I won that, immediately. So let me pop over to this. So we'll start this next one here. I love the JU-52 model in here, so I really hope that they integrate that into operations. How much did I enjoy Firestorm on the scale of 1 to 10? That is tough. I will tell you that ever since leaving Sweden, I have been thinking about it and really wanting to play it. So it has been on my mind, and I've really been like, come on, 25th, get here. Like, I really had a fun time doing it. It is a little bit, it's different than core Battlefield 5, right? It is different from core Battlefield 5. So it's a different experience. But for what it is, and I think solid 8. Some other minor changes would pop it up to a 9. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, but I get criticized all the time about, oh, you're not critical enough, or you're a shill, or this and that. I'm like, I'm playing a video game. Like, video games are supposed to be fun. Like, Lord help me if I actually have fun playing a video game. Like, I feel like it's not fair to judge people on that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm playing a video game and having fun. Like, why is that a crime? Like, does it mean I have to like everything in the video game? No. But at the same point, it's built to be fun. Like, it should not come as a surprise that I'm having fun playing a game. Right? No fun allowed. Do I love Apex, Fortnite, or this? I didn't really care for Fortnite so much. I did love Apex from what I played. PUBG always appealed to me, but I felt like it was really roughly implemented. Like, the gunplay wasn't solid, the movement looked kind of crappy, and it was third person as well. And so I think that Firestorm fills a bit of a niche there with adding vehicles, and the gunplay in Battlefield 5 is good. It's really, really good. So I'm glad to kind of get those mechanics worked into a battle royale. The Well Club, when are Battlefield coins coming? I don't know. I don't know when Boynes are going to get here. Scorpion Lover, when will Firestorm release? 25th. Ruben, what's up? How are the Netherlands? Boeves, I think Firestorm is going to be something that they're going to put resources into. I think it's going to do well. I think people are going to enjoy playing it, and the combination of those two things, I think, will ensure that they're going to put some more content and effort in it, and that kind of stuff. Infamous Fabs, are we squatting up? Yeah, we can probably do that. Did gunplay feel any different in Firestorm? Any damage changes? It feels like there's damage changes, but only because, let me pause this here for a moment. Because there's a couple things I can talk about, right? We look down here at the bottom of the screen. It says I've got 50 points of armor and 150 health. So, you're not really a bullet sponge, but I mean, like, weapons take longer to kill people depending on the amount of armor and health that they have, right? So that does feel different. The different weapons, so I have an uncommon and a rare one here. The rare one actually has a couple of the skill tree items automatically applied to it. Or this is common and uncommon. The uncommon one does. The rare one has like the full 4 in the skill tree applied to it automatically. So, like an uncommon weapon is going to walk up a lot more than a rare one, right? And the rare ones have sights and like a drum magazine on a Thompson I pick up as a rare weapon. But now some differences in gunplay in regards to that. But I mean, the weapons feel the same when you use them, right? Tommy, hello from Switzerland. Grüezi. See, I can say that. Let me see here. Was the game optimized? How well was it optimized? I didn't encounter really any kind of problems, which I kind of felt that I would, because I'm not a developer, but the fire ring seems like it would be something that would be graphically intense, but we didn't really have any slowdowns or anything like that. And I played in 1440p. Do I think it will go free to play at some point? Game Evil, I would say that they're probably going to bank on doing like free trials of things. And I mean, I think Battlefield 5 itself as a game will probably be, $20 or something like that to make the entry point into this pretty easy. Freddy, you do have to drop ammo to pick up other ammo that you want. At the top over here, you can see it says inventory. This little bar tells me how much space I have. So right now, I've got rifle ammunition, I've got shotgun ammunition, and I have a bunch of other stuff. So if I wanted to add more ammunition, I'd have to drop some other item, right? Like they have weight to them, and that's something I didn't get a chance to figure out. We only got 5 rounds of squads in and 3 of solos, so I didn't have time to go and see how much does this weigh, how much does that weigh, but you do have to figure that out there. Bar, did I get any dev feedback on your revive gesture or flare reload ideas? The revive gesture, I did not, unfortunately. I still hope they do it. That would be pretty nice. Does the armor break first before health is taken? I believe it does, Matthew. Will I be using Stadia when it comes out? Maybe. I want to see. I think they're going to integrate it in directly to YouTube in some ways, so there's probably an impetus for me to do that, but we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know how I missed, not this shot here, because I kill him, but this guy, I swear I shot him in the face, and I died. I was really bummed about that. I thought I was doing well. Managing the inventory with a controller, I felt it was pretty intuitive. I didn't have a lot of issues with that, so I thought it was fine. There is, I don't know if it's this one, but there's one of the squad ones that I did where I had to utilize the mouse to do something just because I was in like panic mode and I couldn't figure out how to do it with the controller. But I mean, here we're gonna we have nicknamed this the Devil's Anus right here. This is like one of the coolest places you can drop on the map because there's a vehicle lockup in it. It's like right there. What is this big quarry? They call it Pluto dig site? No, it's going to be Devil's Anus. That's what it is. When is the new Greek map dropping? I believe they said the Greek map is coming in May. That's what it looks like, so. How many new buildings and assets were present compared to what was reused? I don't know if there was anything particularly new here. Here, you can see me open one of the safes. And I'm using the ping system to say, hey, there's a safe over here. And I'm talking on the VoIP for this, you know, in case something good comes out of this safe, right? Chief Mandu Dog, it did run smoothly, but I don't know the specs of the PC that we were using. I don't think they were like super beastly PCs. Like I've used some pretty beastly PCs at some events with like dual, you know, 2080 Ti setups and whatever. That I don't think the computers that we were using for the Firestorm Cap event were like that beastly. Woba42, don't you think that having a pistol when knocked will get you to be finished off every time? Potentially. Yeah, certainly. I mean, if somebody starts shooting me when they're downed, I'm not gonna let them, you know, live to be thirsting their teammates there. But if you don't have a pistol, you know, and you're just kind of down and you crawl around, I find another safe over here. This one has some good stuff in it. Do you think people will jump from Apex to Firestorm when there's special content? I think Apex and Firestorm are pretty different from one another. Like Apex as a game does some cool stuff, and Firestorm does some cool stuff. But I feel like they appeal to different people. You know, like one is, you know, kind of has this vein of Overwatch to it, where you got classes, and you got special abilities, and Firestorm is more the pure gunplay battle royale, you know, like PUBG styled stuff. So I think they apply to different areas. Apocalypse regarding safes. Okay, so safes are pretty rare. But the interesting thing about safes, and I actually asked the devs this because I was like, you know, are they in the same place every match? And they said that there are designated locations inside the world where safes can spawn, but their actual spawn locations are randomized every match. So the next time I jump into the Devil's Anus, right, there might not be a safe where that one was, which is kind of neat. Emmett, are classes involved in Firestorm at all just for what you look like? Just for cosmetics? Do I think console crossplay using Origin is a possibility? I think that would be cool, but I don't know if they have any plans to do that or not. Joseph, what I think about the duo being only a limited time event. I hadn't heard that it was limited time, but I think if it does well, they'll leave it in there. Jaden, I might have said melee. I'm not sure. I don't remember what I was talking about at that point. Vertigo, that is interesting. I wish you could dynamite the safes open if you have dynamite. I'm going to bring that up to the devs. That would be really cool. I'm going to bring that up. That is a cool idea. I have not found any Easter eggs in Firestorm at all, Shelly, unfortunately. We only played 5 games of squads and 3 of solos, so I didn't really have a lot of time to search around, right? We just saw the Solus logo a lot, and that was about it. Are tanks OP? No. Tanks are not OP. I'm going to pause this and bring it back because this gives me an opportunity to talk about something here too. So this little location right here. So just like with the safes, where there are locations where safes can spawn, but they're randomized every match, vehicles can spawn in particular locations, but they are randomized every match. So this particular location is one where you could probably find a Fletner, one of the helicopters, right? But in this match, it's not there. But you'll actually see there is some fuel over there. So this might be a place where you can look and see, okay, this is a vehicle spawn. There's no vehicle there right now, but there might be some ammo or some fuel for us to refuel our vehicle or rearm it. So I hop off and go grab the fuel because I'm like, hey, you just mentioned needing fuel in the chat, so let me go grab some and bring it to you. And then I try to bring it in there and realize that only 2 people can fit inside of the Valentine tank on this mode. Do I think Firestorm will bring us new cosmetics? Absolutely. Divisive factor in the game? I just think there's a lot of manufactured outrage about it. I think people got really PO'd at EA for taking the stance that they took. I mean, and that's their right to do that. You know, I didn't agree with the way EA did some things, but you know, you can't hit the rewind button. So here we are. Would I like to see the Vampire Night Scope implemented? No, please no. No more thermal stuff. Although if it was historically accurate, it would probably be awful enough that it would balance itself out. What kind of food did I eat today? Man, what did I eat today? I had a bowl of cereal, and I had a yogurt so far. Not terribly exciting. Any word on attachments at a later date? That is what I had heard, that they're thinking about it, but there's no commitment to, yes, we're going to do this. But that is something, again, like I brought it up in the feedback sessions of like, people want this, they're going to expect it. You should probably do it. It's basically what I said. Which is ironic today, reading Reddit where people are like, why do people listen to YouTubers and they don't know anything? They don't speak for the community. I'm like, actually, I kind of do, because I read everything that you guys write on the videos, and I forward as much as I can to the devs when I can. Because personally, lack of attachment system didn't really bother me, but again, I know it's something people expect, so... Is Firestorm based on a real event? I don't think it is. I might have to dig into something to maybe find out something about that, but... Told me, how long do I stream? Till I get tired of it, I guess? Yeah, I don't know. Have I been in a helicopter yet? No, I have not. Do I speak German? Ja, ich spreche Deutsch. Ich muss mein Deutsch üben, aber ich kann viel verstanden. Or I guess viel verstehen. See, I actually have had several classes in German, and my grandparents speak German, so... I understand a lot, but man, am I rusty when it comes to actually speaking it. Grammatically, it's very difficult compared to English. My grandparents also speak Swiss German, so tell me, you being from Switzerland, would probably appreciate words that I know, like "Hochgeschli." Nick Gelman, do you have any lectures online from your classes? Is teaching voice and delivery different from YouTube voice and delivery? It's actually pretty similar. Right, because you kind of have to talk with an air of authority when you're teaching. So, and that's generally how I tend to present on YouTube as well. Private Donut, I don't know what to say about Battlefront stuff. I haven't paid that much attention to it. But you're watching here, like my team had a Fletner helicopter, they had a tank, and they decided, okay, we're going to go the Anakin route and try and take the high ground from this other team, and they all died. It's just me at this point, and I'm in like full panic mode right now because my entire team just got wiped out by 3 people, and they didn't kill any of them. And now I know they're all rolling towards me, so I kind of hide in this building for a couple of minutes, hoping that maybe they bypass me or I can pin them on the stairs here. But it turns out that I don't actually run into them, so it's just kind of me hanging out in this building for a little bit. But I'm really low on ammunition for the Bren gun here. I hear the footsteps. I will say the audio in Firestorm is much better than it is in base Battlefield 5. Simon, what do I think about the loot popping out of the dead player? I actually like it. Again, this goes back to my idea that Battle Royale modes are too much inventory simulators sometimes. So I like the loot explosion a la, Borderlands, right? Where it just pops out and you look at it. You can select, yes, I want this, or yes, I want that. And not have to worry about going into another screen. Neatless, I don't know. I think the ping system is probably number 1 in terms of what they're going to do. Will I be making an analysis on the gameplay trailer? Probably not, because I've seen, I feel like pretty much all there is to see, so that's on the other YouTube video that I have. What do I like to play the most? I enjoy Conquest, but I tell you, I enjoyed Firestorm, and I will be playing it a lot. How long does a match last? Match lasts anywhere from about 14 to 18 minutes, something like that. We had some quicker matches. You can see that, I hit that guy for 99 and took out his armor, but he was still able to get away, and I ran out of ammunition for my light machine gun there. Does DICE add the heli to Conquest? We talked about it, and we begged them to do it, so hopefully they will. What is the stream about? Basically, we're looking at my Firestorm footage from the capture event last week, talking about it, answering questions, hanging out for a little bit. Reed, I did not hear any soldier callouts that I can remember. I hope that they add them to the game. Johnny Love, I will say that they seemed much better with directionality and being consistent. Tank sounds were really loud in Firestorm. I don't know if they're going to tweak that a little bit, but it's like, man, you hear a tank coming like a ways away. So talking about balancing vehicles, are they balanced? They are balanced because you know where they are. That gives you an opportunity to ambush them if you're smart about how you do it. Vertigo Drake, as far as weapons, vehicles added to Tides of War, will these be added to the loot pool of Firestorm? I don't know. I would like to see some of them brought in, but I have a feeling that for balancing reasons, they're going to kind of work in individual weapons over time. So we'll see how that goes. Shako Monster, at launch, they're doing solos and 4-player squads. Duos will follow in April for Firestorm. Can I please do a video and say that we want more German standard helmets? I will mention it to the devs. I think that there's a lot of stuff coming with Boynes when that launches that you guys will probably enjoy. Is there a lack of ammo? I don't feel like there's a lack of ammo, really. I just feel like I did not inventory manage well on this particular match. Because I was in quite a panic here. I got the Firestorm moving in, and I'm trying to decide what can I do because I know I only have 6 rounds in this machine gun that I picked up. Like, I find a machine gun, but they left the machine gun and took the ammo later, so it doesn't help me. And unfortunately, I kind of got caught in between a rock and a hard place in this particular match. It's not really 300 health, it's 200. TTK in Firestorm is obviously slower than it is in core Battlefield 5, but it's not like Apex Legends where like everybody's a bullet sponge, right? It's not like Fortnite or that kind of stuff. So guns have more power here. Have heard vehicles cannot be driven and armed by the same person. I don't know about that. That might be the case with some particular vehicles. So I know it's like that for the helicopter, where the helicopter pilot can't fire a weapon or anything like that, but the two people on either side of him can. The Storm Tiger, I could drive and fire the big gun. Jacques fortifications, not here. This is one where I find the machine gun but no ammo, and I'm like, oh crap. How is the sound? Easy to tell where the enemies are. Much better than core Battlefield 5. Way better. Way, way better. Oh, I guess that's true, Alistair. Yeah, if I'm looking at this here where I've got the basic vest with one armor. So yes, okay, technically yes, it can go up to 300. But I mean, you know, it's still, you drop them a lot faster than you do in Apex. Chiefy, no fortifications in Firestorm right now. That's what I heard. They said right now. So I guess that means that they could implement them in the future. This guy scared the crap out of me. I did not expect him to come out of there. So yeah, I down him, and so I know his teammates around here, and I know I'm probably going to die, but I'm like, I'm going to take this guy out first. So, you know, not terribly crazy match there. That one I had to just go it on my own for the last bit there. I mean, I would say the TTK is more similar to Battlefield 1 and Firestorm, at least with the initial health. It does feel like that, yes. Is the destruction old school, right, or on Battle Royale BF5? It is, you know, everything that you could destroy, as far as I know, in core Battlefield 5, you can destroy in Firestorm. So buildings, whatever you want it gone, just demolish it. Do I think Firestorm is going to bring players in Battlefield 5? I think so. Have I been in the Firestorm? Yes, it was warm. I don't know, time to death felt fine. I mean, you've got the additional health. You've got opportunity to swing around and shoot at the people who are shooting at you. So, Needless, don't have an answer for that. I did not get an opportunity to see if that could be done. So I don't know if, you know, you can damage wheels the same way that you could damage tracks on tanks. Striker, I think Battlefield 5 has evolved a lot from the beginning, but I think that's also a testament to, I think the game was released too early. See, I'm looking around to see if anybody's dropping around me. Figure out where my team went, because I knew that nobody else was falling this way, so I was like, okay, you guys can go over there. I'm going to loot all these houses. The hands look awful? No, I want to fly into somebody and punch them. That's why they're balled in fists like that. Inventory easy to go through? I felt like it was. 1 to 10, how much you give to Battlefield 5? I think as a game, Battlefield 5 has probably gone from a 6 to an 8. You know, I think they finally hit the turning point where we're moving from bug fixes into more actual content and giving the game the love it deserves and the community the love it deserves. Neatless, the hovering hand for the revive is actually done on purpose. So according to the devs, this is where I figure out, oh, I can equip a pistol, or I thought I could. I guess I do it in a different game. But again, you could do 2 primary weapons and a pistol, so you can have 3 weapons in Firestorm. But the hovering hand during revive is actually done on purpose because they didn't want the character moving during the revive because they wanted it to be more like the other battle royales where going to revive somebody was a risk, right? And you guys know when you play core Battlefield 5, when you try to revive somebody, you go through the whole animation and your character swings back and forth. And if you ever tried to shoot somebody while they're reviving somebody, it's kind of a crapshoot of like, oh, did I time it right when they happen to be moving in the animation and blah blah blah. And for Firestorm, they wanted it to be where that person is stationary and they can get shot. So that's why the animation is the way that it is. How much water travel is used? There's opportunities for it. I did not specifically get an opportunity to do it, but Emmett, I don't see them doing a Firestorm-only version of Battlefield 5. What I do anticipate them doing is, free weekends. There'll be, some kind of sale at some point, I'm sure, where it'll be like $10. And, at that point, it's like, well, I might as well just get, all of Battlefield 5. And I think that's how people are going to look at it. Is multiplayer better than Battle Royale, or is Battle Royale better? I think that depends on your preferences. Yep, Elite Scout, right on, fire sale. What if Neatless, what if it takes place in the same universe as Battlefront, and you're just using midichlorians to heal somebody? And what's really inside of the syringes is Bacta. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I should leave stuff for my teammates or not. Oh, there's a cricket paddle there. I didn't notice that before. So you can upgrade your melee weapons as you go along here as well. Leaking Battlefield lore over here. Maybe. We'll see. Dude, Jaden, though, that new mode that they announced for Battlefront has me thinking I might have to boot up the game again. Because it sounds like old school Battlefront to me. So I wanna go check that out. Do I think the map is too big? I think I don't want to say yes to that because I love how huge the map is. I think either there needs to be more players or the circles need to be smaller. Squeak, I did not think the inventory was really too clunky. It's easy enough to kind of manage things. Like you press down on the D-pad and it opens up the full inventory menu on the screen without covering your screen, which is actually nice. And then you can go through and tell it to swap this or drop that or, whatever. I fired that flare because I thought it would pop a parachute, and it didn't, and it flew across the map. So, was my bad for calling in this vehicle on this precarious precipice. Ronnie Diaz did not have any frame rate drops, really. I don't know the specs of the computer that we were playing on, so I can't say, oh, it's going to run amazing or blah, 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 because I don't know. I like that I was able to climb a lot of places. I tried the Battlefield 4 maneuver here. You knife the boat back into the water, right? Oh, Alistair, and you would need like 400 players on this map if you wanted to have it like a conquest map. Remo, the rings are random. Elite Scout. There's also a G in my logo if you look close enough. What's the metal plates? So the metal plates are your armor, Dalin. So I have a uncommon vest at this point, so I have 2 slots where I can put armor in. So the metal plates are basically like, if you're used to playing Apex, right? They're like your shield canisters, or you know your shields from Fortnite. That's basically what it is. No friendly fire, Adam. Do I think Firestorm will have a story? I think there's going to be like some kind of like subtext narrative thing happening, where you're going to be able to, you know, kind of explore some of the background of like why you're on this island and blah blah blah, and you know, or technically it's a peninsula, but you know why you're here and that kind of stuff. I think that'll be something there, but I didn't see anything to that effect when I played it. Regarding the game, what's your favorite part about Battle Royale? I mean, I like the end game of Battle Royale. Like, I like, and when I say end game, you know, I like to be the person in the good position waiting for people to come to me, and going after them that way. So that's what I like about Battle Royales. Because you really got to try and outsmart the other person, and that's what makes it fun for me. What's up, Yogan? Hanif, I would love for them to add more players. I think that if they added to 100 players, it would be chaotic enough that people like the old school Battlefield players would really, really like it. Pacing in the game, probably between Apex Legends and PUBG. I think PUBG's a little bit slower, but Apex is definitely faster. So you can still use the ping system as you would with Apex. You just have to talk. So I'm telling my team right now on VoIP that there's a medium armor vest here, because I'm the only one with a medium armor vest currently. So yeah, Squeak, I was specifically told by devs that if you are at full health and I don't think that a single headshot will kill you. So you have to hit somebody more than once. Can you run and check the map area at the same time? Yes, I just didn't. Yeah, Alistair, they are working to that effect. I've been told that they're looking at making the ping system is very similar to Apex. So I really want to just run around and just ping things and say, you know, Mozambique here. David, I think that's really the good question that everybody should be asking about Firestorm is, does it give you that adrenaline rush that people like in Battle Royales? And to me, the answer is yes. You know, everybody has kind of different variations on, you know, how fast they want stuff to play. You know, do you want a real target-rich, chaotic environment, or do you want it to be slower? Right? Those are all personal preference things. But you know, does Firestorm provide you the experience of like feeling very alone or there being danger everywhere? The answer is yes, and it's fun. I almost get bamboozled by this guy because I'm like, where'd he go? Surely he couldn't go over here. Oh, God. Right. But only reason I won that probably is because I had a medium vest on where I had the 2 armor points. But you can pick up multiple grenade types and swap them out on your in your inventory there. I didn't do it for this one here. What can I say except Mozambique here? Yes. Not tactical. Criterion is done with Firestorm. It's being turned over to DICE. So DICE is going to be adding things to it, and I feel confident they will be. Right? Was I scared of the storm? Yes. Like, you can see it in some of the other videos where I definitely go into panic mode. So. Thank you, Bennett. You guys, if you're in the chat and you have any need for streaming emotes or any kind of graphics or something, dude, hit up Bennett Judd. Like, he's on Twitter. He did a bunch of stuff for me, including t-shirt designs, which I'm still working on getting those done right at a place I was not happy with Design by Humans. So, but his designs were awesome. Ellard reviving animation, why is it not here? Because they wanted it to be more competitive. So they didn't want the person moving around while they were reviving somebody. They wanted it to be much more like risk versus reward. What do I think about the roadmap? I think it's a good start. You know, I mentioned earlier in the stream that we're getting to a point, I think, where we're finally crossing the line between bug fixes and starting to do actual content. So I think we're going to see more and more as stuff goes on. Lucas, this is recorded from a capture event in Stockholm last week. So DICE had me out to Sweden to play the game in advance, do some video content, that kind of stuff on it. So that's what's going on here. So this is a recording. I'm not actually playing it right now. L, regarding, like, do you think they will bring out new maps for Firestorm or just update areas? I'm not sure. I don't know what they're going to do. How long do you think you'll be playing the game mode? I mean, I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to be playing it quite a bit. And I'm somebody who loves Conquest in Battlefield 5, and I think this is arriving at the right time for me to, mix things up a little bit. And I think a lot of people are probably at where I'm at with that, where it's like things are starting to get a little bit stale with the lack of some maps, and Firestorm is going to scratch that itch. So. Metcat, I would say that yes, it looks like America versus Japan. If you look at my Twitter account, I posted an image where if you actually look at the image that is promoing Chapter 5, it's actually pulled from concept art of the Pacific with a carrier on it. So I think it's like 100% going to be Pacific. Shane, I'm sure it's coming. Like, M1 Garen is going to be coming. Would you rather have a couple of very good maps instead of Firestorm? Actually, I'm going to say that, and it might be an unpopular opinion, that I'm actually happy to see Firestorm in some way. Like, if there were a couple of maps, like, yes, that'd be great, but I think Firestorm is good for the franchise in some ways, even if everybody's, not on board with it. Have they ever raged in the BF5 chat box in a match? Oh, yes. I would do that all the time on the community test environment. David, I did not hear anything about Firestorm competitive or esports, but I assume it's something that could definitely happen. We'll just have to see. This is my first solo match, which it's 2 minutes long. So this is one where I die fighting the tactical Brit, where I stab him and then I get killed. But most of the time when I play Battle Royales, like I jump out of the airplane like 3/4 of the way through the flight. And this time I'm like, no, I'm going to jump out first. And it was a bad decision. That is a good question, Vertigo. Will company coin or anything be awarded from Firestorm? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I would like to think that there would be. Done the dumb. I think shotguns, you might think that they're weak because of the additional health, but I killed somebody in like 2 shots with a shotgun. So I thought they were still pretty powerful. And can I sound different because I'm not reading? If I read something, I present it a particular way. All right, Elite Scout. Thanks for hanging out, dude. Thanks for the super chat earlier. I think it was my first ever super chat, so it's pretty cool. I do feel like the game is balanced so far. And have I found a new vendor for my merch? Working on it. Going to be talking with Total FPS on Twitter. He's going to start his own kind of clothing brand, and we're probably going to work with him, so we'll see. Is there a chance they might add night mode to Battle Royale? That would be pretty cool. When does it come out for Xbox? Jamarcus, 25th. Same as PC and PS4. Yep. So unfortunately, I died there. Bummer. Give me 1 second here. I believe Flak stands for Flugabwehrkanone. What if they add a Gatling gun? I don't know. I don't know about that. Are there any good landmarks? Actually, if you pay attention here, I'll pause this once I get the map out of the way. There's a couple good ones. The big quarry down here, the Devil's Anus, as I'm going to call it, is a good landmark. There's also, you can see here, that's a radio tower. So there's a radio tower there, and there are a couple other radio towers scattered throughout the map. So it's kind of useful in helping you to find your way throughout Halvoy. What do I think about the graphics? I thought the graphics were fine. I thought they looked really, really nice. Bring back the old logo. I didn't want to get rid of the other logo at all, but it was one of those things that, all good things must come to an end. Alistair, now that would be interesting. That would be really interesting. You might be onto something with that, actually, because there are several radio towers throughout the map. So if you could use one to like call in a reinforcement and bring your team back in, your teammates back in, like that would be really cool. Maybe they've got plans for that. I don't know, but that is a really interesting thought. But it's much slower than Apex, in my opinion. Maybe not much slower, because I've had some slow Apex games. But it is slower than Apex. Faster than PUBG, in my opinion, but slower than Apex. Is long-range shooting viable in Firestorm? Well, I think only the rare versions of the sniper rifles actually have scopes on them. So, you're kind of limited in that the weapons that you find, the bolt action rifles have iron sights on them, which again, if you want to do well at Firestorm, start playing Battlefield 5 with iron sights now so you get a couple days of practice in before it drops on the 25th. DeFriesa, I am American. I do speak some German. My grammar is quite bad now at this point, but pronouncing German words is always fun for me, so. Is it true that the bird is the word? Yes. Is there coming a new logo? Nope. How old am I? I have to think about it for a second. I am 32. Big enough. I got that BDE. I don't need to answer that question. No, I get mad at people when they say Gewehr. I'm like, es ist Gewehr. It is not so difficult. Yep, nope, Jordani, you got nothing on me, man. Yep. Well, but that was some of the feedback that we gave him. We said, you like really got to blow up that windscreen. Like, I got to feel like I did something really cool. How do you pronounce get wrecked? Am I interested in World War II itself? Yes, of course. When is the next Let's Talk Battlefield? It will be Sunday. It'll be this Sunday. Reed, I think they will. It's just a matter of when it'll happen. See, here's where you can see the menu, and I'm doing it with a mouse right now because I was just trying to get it done. But learning how to do it, it's just as simple as telling it to drop and then how much. It's pretty easy. Do I think the next Battlefield game is going to be a Vietnam setting? I don't know. I would really like to see a Bad Company game or something modern. Vietnam setting would be interesting. I'm still really hoping hard for like Korea. I think Korea would be really neat. It'd be something new. That would be a game that I would really want to play, and I think a lot of people would. How difficult is winning a round of Firestorm? About as difficult as winning any other Battle Royale. Seeing enemies on the minimap? I only saw enemies on the minimap when I think I had a flare up. I'm not sure if I was able to see them otherwise. I'm going to pay attention because I bump into an enemy at this point next point that I go to. So I'll look at that. Least favorite thing about Battle Royales? That's a tough question. I'm kind of torn with the shielding mechanics of some Battle Royales. Like, I think shields are like BS. You know, it's one of the reasons like I'm not a huge fan of Halo. It's because like shields were always a thing in Halo. I had to break a shield before I could actually like kill that person, and I always found that really annoying. You know, they turn around and gore you with the laser sword, right? Like even though you got the drop on them and you were in a better position and you were putting as much ammunition into them as you could, and they just turn around, and were like, "Bleh," and that was it. Yep, Vit. When I read things on paper, I present in a little bit of a different way. Like I plinked me and took out one of my armor plates there. How do the devs deal with people who are only looting? I mean, I don't really know the answer to that question. I mean, if people are just going to loot, I mean, they're going to die at some point. So this is one of those radio towers I was talking about earlier. What's up, PS4 gamer? German is a hard language to learn. That is an understatement. This is where I hear this guy, and this is what I'm talking about. The audio is much better. Like I hear him and I'm like, oh crap. And I go to like hide. Like, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for what I hope is the opportune moment. So you can see I take this guy down pretty quick with a shotgun. And I think he's the only one here. So I'm like, all right, now I can like regroup and look at this house and whatever. And I catch this movement out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh crap, there's a guy in there. I was happy with this kill because I anticipated he was going to go to that other window. So I broke his armor, flanked around, and then I managed to get him here. But he also called an artillery strike on me, which was not helpful to my health. So I'm in full panic mode, and just as I'm about to put in new armor plating, I get killed, which makes me sad. I mean, sure, David. You know, you could probably describe it as that. I don't know what that means. English is a hard language to learn. Nah, because we have one article. We have the. German has der, die, das. And then you have different articles based on, is it accusative? Is it dative? Is that, like, it's just, German's just bonkers. Internet Explorer. Didn't mean to click that. All right, we're on to my last gameplay video here, so I'm going to wrap things up after this. My child is having a meltdown in the other room, so after this one, I'm going to have to scoot out of here. And I am not playing live right now. This is all recorded. This is recorded last week. I think Battlefield 5 has potential to be in the top of some battle royales. I think it'll get a lot closer if they duplicate the ping from Apex. Here, I'm going to let this play out for a second. I have to run and go do something, but I will be right back. All right, I'm back. I had to bring my wife an ice pack because a daughter threw a tantrum. Is the Battle Royale free? It is free if you own Battlefield 5. So it is not free to play in the traditional sense. Vit, I have no idea how to pronounce that. Would I like to see the battle at Castle Itter? Absolutely. I think that's a really cool location, and it would work as a really neat multiplayer map. So it's free if you own the game, ET. But it is not like Apex Legends, where it's just like, okay, I'm gonna download this and then be done with it. You know, and not have to do anything else, unfortunately. Where does my music come from? Did I make it? I did not make it. This is done by a guy called Ian Alex Mack. You can find his SoundCloud in the stream description there. It's at the very bottom. Hikiko, I did not know that until just earlier in the stream. Somebody told me it was limited. I think it'll stick around. I don't feel like it's going to be limited. Am I from Germany? No. My family is from Switzerland, the German-speaking part of Switzerland. So, Firestorm does have some really good team play. You know, provided that you actually talk, right? We didn't have a lot of people in this test talking, and I'll forewarn you that the gameplay footage here was the slowest that I had. So I'm kind of hanging out and waiting. I'm in the circle, so I know that people should be coming by me. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait and then get the drop on these guys. And one person shows up in a Schwimmwagen, and I choose not to shoot at them because I didn't want to give away my position. So. And can you use Surf and Bird by the Trashmen as intro music? I'm gonna say no. Am I gonna do live with Firestorm on Monday? Most likely in the afternoon on Monday, and if yes, on YouTube or Twitch. This was kind of a test to see, okay, what is YouTube gonna do? So we'll see. I haven't made up my mind yet. We'll see. Is bullet penetration noticeable in Firestorm? I did not notice it, but I didn't really have a position where that would have been something that I could notice. I didn't have an encounter. Carl, yes, you will have time to react. That has been my experience. And I do not live in Switzerland currently. See, I was getting annoyed by the little double view looking down the iron sights. I was just like, okay, let's just knock this out. Get this out of the way. If you are driving, the zone can burn you. Yes. So it won't damage the vehicle, but it will damage, you will take damage. Which is better maps? Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 5? I think the core maps in Battlefield 5 are excellent. I think looking at Battlefield 1, I think the DLC maps for the French and the Turning Tides DLC are probably going to be some of the best maps that the franchise has had. So I don't know how they can, one up that in Tides of War, but it's like can't really compare the maps at that point because we don't have any other maps except for Panzerstorm, right? I go back to watching the road, and this is where I see this little Schwimmwagen moving along. And I decide, nah, I'm not going to shoot at him because all I'm going to do is just reveal my position, and then I'm going to have to deal with that later. So Helicopters, what do I think? They look pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to get in one. Is Firestorm refined and not buggy? I did not have any bugs in Firestorm. I was pleasantly surprised. I kind of anticipated I was going to see one here or there or something. I did not see any. And I say that with, I don't know if this is a different build than what's going to be going to Xbox and PS4 and PC and all that kind of stuff. But personally, it was solid when we played it. I was very happy to see that. And I think that's a testament to Criterion being able to do their own thing. So going off working on their own, building this while DICE was doing the other stuff, I think was smart. And so the map seems really refined. Being able to jump places, vault over things was not a problem. So Criterion very clearly did some really good work on that. And also caveat, like as we watch this, like you're not seeing a lot of people. It's also because this was at the end of the capture session and the devs came in and said, hey, pizza's here. And everybody was like, oh, pizza. So a number of people, you'll see the little origin thing pop up in the corner, but they left because they were like, we're going for pizza because we are starving. Always in the beginning, I say, hey, everyone, it's Flak Fire, right? Sounds the same. I'm just not reading off a piece of paper, so. Do I think that not making Firestorm free is a mistake? I think it would have been smarter to make it free. But at the same point, I think Battlefield is probably going to be, something like $20 like that, or, they'll have a sale soon that's going to make it really attractive. And I think that they'll do free free weekends and that kind of stuff. I'll kind of get people interested in Firestorm and stuff. So did I see the new roadmap? Yes, I did. Looks good. How easy is it finding anti-tank munitions of any sort? It was pretty easy. I'm trying to line up the headshot on there. I don't know how I missed him on those two shots, but I did apparently. So I know he's over here, but I'm like, do I want to fall back and let him come to me with the circle rolling in or what? And so I decide to go back a little bit. And I like to do this where I throw a grenade and then go the other direction. Kind of like pincer them. He moved this way faster than I thought he would. I was still able to get him. Just say it one more time. Need to do a collab with Jack Frags. Yeah, I would like that, but we're both very, very busy people. He's got a lot of stuff to do. And I have a full-time job that I do in addition to this YouTube stuff. So, Vertigo Drake, that is a good question. I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, if we had premium, we'd have maps by now. And I don't think that's really true. Like, it took forever to get maps for Battlefield 1. And based on the state of Battlefield 5 at release, I think we would still be devoid of some maps. I'll point out here that the weapon that I have equipped is a common weapon. And so it does not have any of the attachments or elements in the skill tree that some of the rare weapons do. So it's bouncing all over the place while I try and use it. So it's not just that I was potatoing right there. What job do? I work as a college instructor. Teach video production, audio production, that kind of stuff. The V1 that you just saw there is called in by a pistol flare, and it is the rarest pistol flare in the game. And Ludi does have a point. Yeah, like I feel less cheaters if paid, but cheating is still somewhat of a problem in base Battlefield, right? Particularly in the Asian markets. But we did have a good discussion about that during a feedback session at Stockholm this past time, and it sounds like they're going to be taking anti-cheat more seriously and working on some stuff. I was surprised I only got 10 armor down with that. I must have missed him and hit behind him. I did not expect him to rush me, so we dance around this crate and I die, unfortunately. And he won because he had more armor than me, I think, so. Will they be moving away from the preset weapon loadouts eventually? The specs are fine. Yeah, I don't know if that's what they're going to do or not. If you've been watching the stream from the beginning here, we've reached the end of all the footage that I have. So I'm going to replay the first one here for you while I talk about a couple more things before I log off of YouTube here. But if you have any more questions, AMA, chuck them in the chat. Do my students know? Some of them do. Is there a pan in this game? No, unfortunately, there's not that I've seen. I think 100%, like, you cheat, you deserve a hardware ban. Like, I do not mess around. I'm like, no. You cheat, bye-bye. Midas, I think the roadmap is a good start. I think, like we talked about in the podcast, things are shifting from bug fixing and getting up to where we should be to putting out more content. Griffin, I feel tanks are quite balanced. There's a lot of anti-tank ammunition lying around. You have to deal with limited ammunition in the tank, limited fuel. It's pretty well balanced. I only saw one tank as in the final circle in the time that I played. Yorgiv, I told them that they should have attachments because I know that it's something that you guys expect. What battle would I want to have most? What battle would I like to have most added to Battlefield 5? That is a tough question. I'd really like to see something where it's like the final days of World War II. Something in Berlin. Give me the Flak Tower. Like Flak Towers just look so cool. Do you think Firestorm will hold the player base over until May? I think so. I think it'll be bring quite a few people back, bring some new people in to the multiplayer core base. I think that they'll do that. What game mode would I add to Battlefield 5? None. I think there are too many game modes already. Rudy, do I think Firestorm will be free to play later? I think that there will be free to play weekends. I don't anticipate it going free. Now, when they put Battlefield 5 into the EA Vault for EA Access and Origin Access, I think that'll bring in some more people as well. But I'm not sure when it'll go in there. Do I enjoy squads more or solo squads? 100%. GFY Gaming Crew, it is not technically from Fort de Vaux. I explored one of the pre-round screens, like that pre-round area with the hangar, and it's actually in the hangar. But I think it is pretty much just pulled straight from Fort de Vaux because I look at it, I get giddy every time I look. Like, I wish Fort de Vaux was in this game. Is it already on Origin Access? Oh, okay. How far can you get from the drop? You can get pretty far. I was surprised at how far I could get, so. Do I think that Firestorm will split the player base like the premium pass? No, I don't think so. I think there will be people who are playing Battlefield to play the battle royale without a doubt, and they probably won't cross over into Conquest. But I think a lot of people will play it and just kind of say, "Oh, I want to play Conquest today," or "Oh, I want to do Firestorm." Well, that's good to hear, Hikiko. Do I think the interior building should have more props laying around? I think, it's there, This is the first game that I played, by the way, so I'm at this point in the gameplay, I'm learning how to do everything and whatever, if you're wondering, like, why I don't know how to do stuff. Favorite tank in Battlefield 5? I really like the Stug. I like that it's different, right? Like the Stug. So, Griefer Guy, it's free if you own Battlefield 5. If you own Battlefield 5, it is free. It is included, right? Like all the DLC for Battlefield 5 is free. Rudy, what I saw, all of the weapons from normal multiplayer in Firestorm. I don't think all of the weapons are. I think there's a limited number of them. And I think that's for balance reasons and whatever. So we'll see. It should be free to play, only way to attract wide population. I think if they do free to play weekends, right? And I honestly think this is what their plan is with that will draw players in. But I mean, yeah, you're definitely going to have a larger player base if you make the entire thing free to play. But that hasn't been what the goal is for this. So we'll see the way that the public takes it. I don't know. At this point, Midas, I think it's still too early to make a judgment call on that because, at this point in time, when we had Battlefield 1, we still didn't have any maps. So ask me that question again in 6 months, and then I can make a decision on it. Well, I mean, GFY. I mean, the game itself, you can pick it up used for $20, or there are sales for $20 or something like that. So I don't think price is really going to be a barrier to that. It's going to be what the masses think of the gameplay. If they think it's good, if they think it's fun, then that'll be enough for people to say, okay, yeah, I'll spring for that. Plus, if I buy this battle royale, then I get the multiplayer, then I get the single player, then I get blah blah blah, right? I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. Favorite Battlefield game? I loved Battlefield 1 for what it was, but I mean, I loved 1942. 1942 is a fun game. Apex, yes, I did see the new mode, and it looks pretty cool for Battlefront 2. And Soldier, I would love to see them up it to 100 players. I think 100 players would be the golden number for this, and it would speed up the mid-game a little bit. And keep you on your toes a little bit more. Oh, and Hardline. Dude, Hardline was so good. Emil, that's a good question. It did not when I played it. You'll actually see it because in the tank I get stuck in the Firestorm here in this round, and after this round is over, I'm going to head out. But I did not see any FPS issues or anything like that. Granted, this was on PC, and I don't know how beefy these PCs were. I did not check the specs, so Adam, I don't know anything new about microtransactions or in-game purchases, so. I see, a lot of people take that Hardline should have been a DLC route, and it's like, Hardline was good. Hardline was so incredibly underrated. Hardline's top 3 of my favorite Battlefield games right there. Do I enjoy Tides of War? I like that there's something new to do every time. You know, like every week there seems to be something new. I enjoy that. Opinion on single player. You know, I think it's creative license. You know, I think they made a decision to do that, and there's, you know, it's fictional. All of the stuff is fictional, and you know, it's not intended to be a one-to-one, you know, representation of World War II. I mean, it's a video game. Come on. Like, I understand why some people got upset over it, but still, to me, it's a video game. Had to choose a vehicle for them to add to Battlefield 5, what would it be? I would put the Puma in the game. The German light reconnaissance vehicle. Put the Puma in there. Is it hard to find fuel for the tanks? It's not that hard. You can find it different places. I would say it's harder to find ammunition. I think fuel is easier to find. Ammunition is more difficult. For this, we were playing in squads. So again, this is recorded gameplay footage. I'm not playing this live. We were playing this in squads in Stockholm, and this match is squads, and I did have a couple other matches in solos. But they weren't, you know, we didn't get to pick our squad mates or anything like that. So we were playing with other game changer people and devs for this particular event. Oh no, you know, ET. I'm not saying they can't be serious. You know, like I'm a huge fan of the Brothers in Arms video game series. You know, I've been hounding Randy Pitchford on Twitter, like, when are you gonna announce the next Brothers in Arms, right? And that one I love because it's so gritty, it's so realistic. You know, and I feel like what you're saying, it doesn't feel very World War II to me at the moment. I feel like that's a valid criticism. Emil, you can play solo when Firestorm launches on the 25th. It's squads or solos, and then duos arrive in April. Is Firestorm difficult? It's slower. I think battle royales are inherently just difficult, right? Because it's that you against the world kind of mentality. Like, cards are stacked against you, so. Do I prefer Aha or Sanitator? Sanitator. I appreciate the memery of Aha, but anything with an umlaut always wins for me. Is there matchmaking in Firestorm? It's going to work the same way that it does when you try to form a squad to go into a game. So it's just you go from the main loading screen and then you send it into Firestorm, basically. See, so I didn't get any FPS drops or anything like that here, at least that I noticed. I'm getting shot at right now by, like, Panzerfausts and whatever, so that's not helping, but... The VB long neck video. No, I don't know what that is. This poor guy. I feel so sorry for him. That was my favorite clip of the event, though. And you can see I'm taking damage inside the tank, but the tank isn't being damaged by the Firestorm. But I tried to bail out, and I unfortunately died, so... Yep, that is the end of it right there. All right, so, yeah, no, I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me on the stream here. Thanks for all the questions, all the comments, all that fun stuff there. Really appreciate it. Ain't real. I don't know if you can play solo squads or not. I'm not sure on that. But you know, we'll all be able to figure it out here soon, right? It'll be on the 25th. And you know, if you guys are interested in future streams, only thing I can tell you, you know, check out social media, check out Twitter. I have an Instagram now. I also do stuff on Facebook, but there's also just make sure you're subbed here on YouTube and tap the notification bell for when stuff goes live, and that should let you know when I'll be streaming. But I'll be streaming a bit more regularly during the summer when I'm off. Can I bark for us? Woof. There you go. But again, appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great weekend.